So you want to reach a professional level on guitar and you want to avoid all the time-wasting BS advice that's out there, then my friend, you just clicked on the perfect video, because I'm about to summarize over 10 years of pro guitar advice in under 10 minutes, and I'd like to start out with the fretting hand. Now, when guitar players start out working on their fretting hand technique, they work on things like the spider exercise. That can be helpful with training your fingers at the start, but here's a much better exercise for you that has a special focus on keeping your fingers close to the neck while also working on finger independence. Now, with the first level of the most helpful finger exercise I know, you focus on keeping your pinky in place, although you don't need it anymore after you played that second note. And as you can see, it's really just my index finger that's moving right here. All the fingers stay very close to the neck. So it should almost feel like fretting that chord. You're just lifting your fingers slightly and they stay in position. Here's how the second level of the exercise looks like. So right now I'm playing it up and down. So once again, it's really just my index finger that's moving. The rest of the fingers are hovering above the neck. Much harder than it looks, but this will really pay off, because after you mastered this, you can move on to the next level. So right now I'm extending the scale phrase on the B string, which makes it even trickier for my fingers. And this full version of this workout is what I recommend to all of my guitar students on patreon.com/bernd. Pretty much on a daily basis, if they want to get their fretting hand under control, it's the best thing you could possibly do for your fingers. Speaking of my student community, one thing you definitely need if you're a self-taught guitar player is some guidance when it comes to your technique, because the one thing that would have saved me years and years of guitar practice is if someone would have told me this is how you actually hold your pick for the best and cleanest results. These are the bad habits you want to avoid with your fretting hand technique. Never do this, never do that. I had to correct so many bad habits over the last years, and I had to figure this out all by myself. So to save you years of practice and all this frustration of piecing this together yourself, I made detailed step-by-step courses for my online guitar academy on Patreon. The link is in the description. These courses come with structured practice plans that tell you exactly how to practice, what to practice and when to practice. And they only feature the exact exercises and workouts that helped me the most with fixing all of these bad habits and getting results like this. So take your guitar technique to a world-class level in just 30 days by clicking the link in the description and by getting started today. I'm waiting for you inside my online guitar academy, but for now, let's continue with the video. Alright, another thing that did a lot of heavy lifting for me is working with interesting chord shapes in my practice routine. Here's my personal favorite, in this case the F minor add 9 chord. If you listen to some of my music, you will have heard this type of chord quite often, because I really like the dissonance you have in there. And I actually like to use this chord voicing for economy of motion exercises, just like this one. Check it out. So once again, with my fingers, I focus on just gently lifting them. So I'm kind of keeping my fingers in place, just like I would play the chord normally, but I'm lifting them one by one. So I want to keep my fingers as close to the neck as possible again. Great finger workout, but this time it's actually also great for my picking hand. Because since I'm just playing one note per string, I have to navigate in between the strings quite carefully. I don't want it to sound like this. I really have to master my string transitioning abilities in order to play this exercise. So this is one of the most effective economy of motion workouts I can recommend, because you're actively training your picking movement. It has to be very small and controlled in order to play it. And of course, you're also really focusing on your fretting hand and keeping the fingers close to the neck. If just practicing this one shape in one position is a little bit boring for you, here's a variation of this exercise. And And since a lot of you awesome people care about shredding, so super fast alternate picking or also sweep picking, tapping, all that fun stuff, perfectly synchronized with the fretting hand at absolutely insane tempos, I also quickly want to take you through my 10 levels of shredding, because this is kind of a perfect representation of how I learned to do it. So if you're just starting out with all of this, the first step you should get a feeling for is your alternate picking movement with a simple exercise just like this. So by just picking one note and just going for a steady picking movement, you focus on developing that wrist motion. So especially at this tempo, you only want to activate your wrist for the picking. It should not look like this. You just want your wrist. The wrist is of course resting on the bridge for maximum control. You always want that connection with the instrument, and you're just steadily going up and down perfectly in time, preferably to a click. After that, working on an exercise like this is a great idea. So for level number 2, I'm kind of introducing hand synchronization already, because I'm not just playing one note anymore. I'm alternating between different notes with my fretting hand, but in order to get a feeling for it, I'm not blazing through a scale right away. I'm playing 4 16th notes for each note. After I mastered this simple switching of notes, here's the third level that I worked on. So simple enough, for level number 3 I have to switch a little bit faster. Now I'm playing 2 16th notes for every single fret. By working on simple exercises like this, I'm further connecting my hands and I'm getting them ready for that perfect synchronization of playing a different note for every single stroke, which is exactly what I'm working on with level number 4. Check it out. So at this step on my shredding journey, I really focused on lining up every single note with my fretting hand perfectly with the alternate picking strokes. Obviously some notes will fall on downstrokes now, other notes will fall on upstrokes. So this way, especially if you worked on all the previous exercises before, you can really sync up your hands and you're ready for level number 5. So this is where it gets interesting, especially for your picking hand, because you have to transition between multiple strings. So far, we only played on the G string. In a practical context, you of course want to play fluidly across all strings very, very fast. So since you're only switching back and forth between 2 strings and you have a lot of time to do that, this 5th exercise is great for getting started with string transitions. And only after I worked on all of these more basic kind of exercises, I moved on to playing full scale phrases across all strings. Here's a great example of that. So just picking a scale and playing through it on all strings with alternate picking is an amazing exercise, and it should come relatively easy after you did all of those previous workouts. And after level 6, things start to get quite challenging, because obviously you also want to work on your string skipping. You will not always just play licks that take you from the lower string to the next string, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, or the other way around. You will have to skip between some strings, just like this, for example. Then after I worked on my string skipping for quite a while, I worked on combining different techniques with my playing. So mixing alternate picking with sweep picking, for example, just like this. This is where it gets really fun. So at level 8 you're already very advanced, and for a lot of players that's enough, but I obviously wanted to go for some flashy show-off techniques as well, because they're super fun. This is how I would describe level 9 of my shredding journey. And then for level 10, what I'm still working on right now is endurance with my alternate picking and speed and cleanliness. Now it's on you to actually start practicing all of this. As always, you can download all of your practice files on patreon.com/bernd. Remember that you also get access to my premium guitar courses over there, like the awesome step-by-step guitar technique courses. So if I could help you with this video, become my actual guitar student today by just clicking the link in the description. I'm waiting for you inside. Can't wait to welcome you. Until then, have an amazing day. Bye bye.